1961 was a year of smooth harmonies, slow dance whispers, and jukebox speakers glowing in dim-lit diners. Songs floated through backseat windows on warm summer nights, and just one hit could make a name echo across every street corner. Tonight, we're dusting off the vinyl and revisiting 10 one-hit R&B wonders from 1961 that deserve to be remembered. Number 10, Tossin and Turnin by Bobby Lewis.
You did something to me.
When this track hit the airwaves in 1961, it was impossible to sit still. Bobby Lewis delivered a restless, let me out of this heartbreak kind of energy that audiences felt deep in their bones.
Jump out of bed, turn on my light, put down the shade with you.
Recorded on Beltone Records, the song caught fire during a time when R&B was reshaping itself, leaning into tighter rhythms, brighter horns, and voices full of grit and vulnerability. There's a fun studio rumor that Bobby Lewis almost didn't even get to record the track because producers weren't convinced it had hit potential. But once that opening piano rolled in, and Bobby started wailing about losing sleep over love gone wrong, the session room lit up like a late-night neon sign. It climbed all the way to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, refusing to budge for 7 weeks, a feat that put Lewis in rare company. Picture hearing it in '61. A crowded dance hall, shoes scuffing wood floors, the whole room clapping in unison, sweating, laughing, feeling that young and alive thrill that only music can spark. And yet, despite this massive success, Bobby Lewis never scored another hit of the same magnitude. One blazing star across the sky, brief, unforgettable. If this was restless, love-lost R&B at its peak, wait until we step into something a little sassier next. Number 9, Baby It's You by the Shirelles.
Baby, it's you.
1961 was still the early glow of the Shirelles' rise, and this track sat right between the soft sweetness of doo-wop and the budding sophistication that would lead into full-bodied soul.
It's not the way you smile that touched my heart.
Released on Scepter Records, Baby It's You carried a certain aching softness, gently floating on strings and echoing harmonies that seemed to come straight from a late-night teenage dream.
What they say about you, cheat, cheat.
Here's the twist. The song was written by a young, then largely unknown trio of songwriters that included Burt Bacharach, who was still years away from becoming the giant we now know him as. The arrangement had that unmistakable Shirelles grace, dreamy, soulful, but grounded in a quiet, emotional truth.
Sit alone at home and cry over you.
And while they did have other major hits, this one stands as a distinct moment, a fragile, trembling snapshot of early 60s romantic longing that didn't explode on the charts like their most famous songs, but has become a whispered favorite among collectors and vinyl lovers. Imagine a transistor radio on a lonely windowsill, warm night air drifting in, a girl tracing circles in her notebook as that chorus repeats softly.
Don't leave me alone.
You feel the yearning, gentle, familiar, unhurried. If this was tender longing, the next one comes with a bold head-turning groove. Number 8, My True Story by The Jive, 5. This one comes straight from the street corners and stairwells of Brooklyn, 1961, where young voices harmonized under streetlights and turned heartbreak into poetry. My True Story wasn't just a song for the Jive 5. It was their moment, their heartbeat, their chance to step out from neighborhood talent shows and into the national spotlight. Released on Beltone Records, the same label that briefly caught lightning with Bobby Lewis,
she's a wonderful girl, but they must cry, cry.
it carried that unmistakable doo-wop ache, tender lead vocals floating over sighing background harmonies like the echo of a love letter never sent. Here's the little-known twist. Eugene Pitt, the lead singer, wrote the song as a deeply personal reflection on real romantic pain he was going through at the time.
Was no right. Things have been
Listeners didn't just hear him, they felt him. And when that falsetto slide hit, whew, you could almost see the teardrop. The song rose to number 3 on the Billboard R&B chart and lingered like perfume in the air for months. And though the Jive 5 continued to sing, this was the moment that truly defined them. A snapshot of young men singing their truth into a world just beginning to listen. And if that was raw emotional honesty, the next track brings a groove that practically shimmers. Number 7, Raindrops by D. Clark.
Raindrops. So
now, here's a record that felt like weather. A song you didn't just listen to, but stepped inside of. Released in 1961 on VJ Records, Raindrops arrived at a time when D. Clark seemed poised to become one of the defining voices of the era.
there must be a cloud in my head.
His vocals were rich, nimble, soaring. The kind of voice that could slip from a whisper to the tearful wail in the span of a heartbeat. The story behind this one is something special. D. Clark actually recorded the song while recovering from a terrible cold.
Feels like raindrops falling from my
which gave his voice that aching, trembling edge that listeners instantly connected to. And then came the studio magic. Real thunder sound effects layered behind his vocals, one of the first R&B records to do it. You can practically feel the storm clouds rolling across the record.
there must be a cloud in my
Picture a rainy night in '61. Street lights streaking across wet pavement. Lovers breaking up slowly in parked cars. Radios crackling through the mist. Raindrops climbed into the top 5, becoming the biggest hit of Clark's career. And yet, he never found another moment quite as bright.
so many raindrops.
If that was rain-soaked heartbreak, the next track shines warm like a summertime smile. Number 6, Please Mr. Postman by the Marvelettes. Here we step into Motown territory. Before the Supremes ruled the charts, before Marvin and Stevie became household names. When Hitsville, USA was still a buzzing little house on West Grand Boulevard, figuring out how to make the world dance. Please Mr. Postman was the breakthrough. Released in 1961 on Tamla, it became Motown's first ever #1 pop hit. And it came from a group of young women barely out of high school. The Marvelettes brought a different energy than the polished acts that would follow. Their voices were earthy, earnest, real. And behind the scenes, a young Marvin Gaye was on drums, still defining his sound. The song was born out of longing, waiting on news from a boyfriend gone away. Something countless young women in the early '60s knew all too well, with military drafts and cross-country work shifts changing lives overnight. You can feel the impatience in every beat, tapping floors, pacing hallways, leaning out windows to catch the sight of that blue-gray mail truck rolling down the block. And with that unforgettable plea, deliver the letter, the sooner the better. It became a national heartbeat. The Marvelettes had other songs, yes, but none burned quite as bright, quite as historic, quite as era-defining as this one. A one-hit wonder in the sense of impact. A single moment that opened the doors of Motown for generations to come. If that was youthful longing, what comes next digs even deeper into the heart.
Please check and see just one more time for me. You better wait.
If these forgotten gems from 1961 are sparking memories, or maybe introducing you to something beautifully new, go ahead and give this video a like. It helps keep this music alive for future soul lovers. And stay right here. Our top 5 still holds some real treasures. Number 5 is Stand By Me by Benny King.
As you stand by me. And
Now, this one might not feel like a forgotten song because its spirit is everywhere. But what's often forgotten is that 1961 was the year it first stepped into the world.
be afraid, oh I won't.
And for Benny King, it was the lone, defining solo hit that would forever etch his name into music history. After leaving the Drifters, there was uncertainty swirling around him. New label, new direction, new identity.
The sky that we look upon.
But in the studio, backed by members of the Wrecking Crew and a whisper of gospel roots from his childhood, Ben delivered a performance that felt like a prayer whispered into eternity. The story goes that the track almost didn't happen. King had written it earlier, unsure it was meant for him. But once he opened his mouth at the microphone, something sacred flowed out. A trembling, upright bass, a heartbeat drum, a voice steady with devotion, even in fear. Picture a slow dance in a dim rec hall, 2 hands interlocked. The world quiet for 3 minutes.
Or the mountain should crumble to the...
Stand By Me climbed to the top 10 and never really left us. Though Ben had other recordings, this was his comet. One blazing streak across time. If this was deep devotion, the next record brings sweetness warm as honey. Number 4, I Love You, Yes I Do by the Darryl Banks.
I love you, yeah.
Released in 1961 under Revelot, I Love You, Yes I Do carried the kind of slow burn tenderness that slipped naturally into late night radio rotations and lovers' slow dances.
You need me, I need.
Darryl Banks had a voice like velvet, warm, steady, with just enough ache to feel lived in. The record came at a moment when R&B was shifting into more refined production. Horns shining like polished brass, rhythm sections tighter, vocals given room to breathe.
Darling, you're my guiding star. I must be.
But here's the part many listeners never knew. Darryl Banks had been a postal worker before he stepping into the studio. Music was his leap of faith, and though the track found regional success, glowing especially across Detroit, Cleveland, and Chicago, the national spotlight only flickered for a moment before moving on.
Since I first laid eyes on you.
Yet, for those who heard it in '61, this song meant something. It was wedding slow dance music, parking lot after the diner music, promise you I'll come back music. Hear it now, and you can almost feel the low summer heat, the soft hum of streetlights, a couple moving close with eyes closed.
I know you know it's true.
A one-hit wonder, yes, but one that held the shape of real love, if that was pure tenderness. The next one comes with a touch of soulful swagger. Number 3, Every Beat of My Heart by the Pips, before they became Gladys Knight and the Pips. Before the spotlight found Gladys Knight, Before the gowns, the tours, the worldwide acclaim, there were simply the Pips, a young Atlanta vocal group trying to make their place in a rapidly changing musical world. Every Beat of My Heart was recorded in 1961, released first on the Small Huntum label, then reissued on VJ, where it quietly became a national sensation. But the story behind this hit is layered with struggle and tension. The group recorded the song twice, once in Atlanta, once in Chicago, without realizing the two versions would compete against each other on the charts. Imagine that, your one big breakout moment split in half by business deals, contracts, and crossed wires. But despite the confusion, audiences heard something unmistakable: sincerity.
Though we're so far apart.
A heartbeat rhythm, voices that sounded young, hopeful, and deeply in love. Picture hearing this on a jukebox in '61, lights low, a couple sharing fries at a Formica diner booth. The kind of moment where time slows just enough to believe love could last forever.
There's a beat for...
This was the hit that opened the door. The whisper before the roar of Gladys Knight's rise. One unforgettable imprint. If that was a promise of greatness, the next track is pure, polished elegance. Number 2, Blue Moon by the Marcells.
Moon, blue moon,
This one is pure doo-wop stardust, a classic standard flipped into something brand new in 1961. The Marcells were a young Pittsburgh vocal group, barely out of high school when they got the chance to record Blue Moon. The song had already lived many lives since the 1930s, but their version, with that now legendary Bomp Baba Bomp intro, turned it into something electrifying, fresh, and joyfully unpredictable. The surprise? The group cut the track in one take. They were in the studio waiting for another artist to show up, and to pass the time, they sang this arrangement they used to perform in clubs. The engineers froze, then hit record. That playful, bouncing, street corner harmony, it wasn't planned, it was alive. And for a moment, America couldn't get enough. The record shot to #1 on both the pop and R&B charts, blasting out of car radios, sock hops, and teenage basement parties across the country. But as fast as their star rose, the moment faded. Trends shifted, labels tangled, and the Marcells never found another hit on that scale. Yet, listen now, and you're right back in the glow of '61. Soda pop fizzing, vinyl spinning, the world feeling young and wide open. A one-hit wonder that has never really left us. And if this was pure joy and doo-wop sparkle, the #1 spot is something entirely different. A track that lit up juke joints from New Orleans to Detroit and came with attitude. #1, You Better Know It by Jackie Wilson. Now this is where charisma, fire, and stage strutting swagger come to the front of the line. Jackie Wilson, Mr. Excitement himself, was already known for performances so electrifying they would leave crowds breathless. But in 1961, You Better Know It hit the scene with a punchy, confident style that felt like walking into the room with your best suit pressed, shoes shining, and a grin that said you already knew you owned the night.
I wanna fill you, pretty mama, till the sun don't shine, satisfy your soul.
Released on Brunswick Records, the song came during a transition period for Wilson. He was balancing the raw R&B energy he was known for with a growing push toward pop crossover. But this track, this one was unapologetically soulful. Rumor has it Jackie insisted on keeping the vocals rougher, more playful, more street. like the sound of a man leaning against a lamppost, half laughing, half daring the world to step correct. Picture a Friday night in '61. Neon bar signs blinking, bandstands hot, dance floors crowded shoulder to shoulder. When this song came on, folks didn't just listen, they moved. Finger snaps, hips swaying, smiles exchanged across the room. It cracked the top 40 and lit up urban radio. But it stood alone, a moment of pure attitude that was never duplicated in quite the same way. Jackie Wilson went on to have bigger hits, yes, but this was the one with the spark, the wink, the street corner cool. A one-hit moment of pure, unforgettable heat. And with that, our countdown reaches its final note. And we bring this soulful journey home. From rainy night heartbreak to street corner harmonies and Motown dreams just beginning to take shape. 1961 was a year full of voices who may have only caught the spotlight once, but left deep fingerprints on the music that followed. These weren't just songs. They were slow dances, jukebox confessions, warm summer night memories, and love stories that lived for exactly 3 minutes and 30 seconds at a time. Thank you for taking this journey back with me, for remembering the artists who gave us one glowing moment we still feel today. If you enjoyed this stroll through the past, go ahead and subscribe to keep this soul heartbeat alive. We've got more stories, more vinyl gems, and more forgotten treasures still waiting on the shelf. Up next, 10 R&B songs from 1971 we'll never forget. Click on the video on your screen. And let's keep this groove rolling into the next year.